Hello, and welcome to Conscious Conversations with Hayley Cullen. I'm your host, and together we're diving into raw, unfiltered, and conscious conversations where nothing is off the table. This is a space for bold, edgy discussions that challenge the norm, whether it's health, mindset, business, entrepreneurial life, energy, healing, or even aliens and conspiracy theories. All topics are welcome. My guests and I go deep, sharing their stories, challenges, and breakthroughs while exploring the topics that others might shy away from. Here, everyone's voice is heard, every opinion is valid, and we get real about what's happening in the world and within ourselves. If you're ready to scrape away the surface level, expand your mind, and explore the wild side of consciousness, then you're in the right place. Strap in, because like I said, nothing is off the table. Let's dive into it. Welcome back to another episode of Conscious Conversations with Hayley Cullen. And today's special guest is Mitchell Ryan. Mitchell Ryan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. And I would love for you to share what it is that you do and what your mission is here in this world.
So, what it is that I do is I help mission-led entrepreneurs, aka movement leaders, the people who are here to change the game, to unlock the transmission that is within their soul and help them bring that forth in their voice so that when they speak, there is no question as to what they're here to do. So that when they speak, it comes straight from their body and they don't have to over-explain themselves anymore.
I love that. I have a question that I start conscious conversations with, and that is if you could have one conscious conversation to help wake up humanity, what would that be?
We're diving in deep straight away, aren't we, Hayley?
Absolutely. Why not?
The conscious conversation to wake humanity up is what you think is authentic expression is not even close to what you're capable of. We use our voices every single day. We speak about the things that matter to us. There is a severe lack of true passion that comes from the body, the passion of fire. Collectively, there is a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear that is perpetuated in stories and programs and dogmas and religions and all of this that tell us that we can't simply express who we are. The conversation that I'm having with people on the daily is that your mission, what you think is your mission and what you think you're here to do, if it's not giving me goosebumps, it's not big enough. You're in a limited state. And I don't care what it is. I don't care whether your destiny is to be a mother. Like, it can be anything. You could be a sandwich artist at Subway. But if you know deeply in your heart of hearts that that's what you're here to do, great. I'm in full support of that. And I think it's so important that we don't shun the different layers of society as well, especially when we get into this entrepreneurial space and it's all grandiose and it's, I'm here to change the world. We can forget the people that are there mowing the lawns, the people that are putting the infrastructure together, the concreters, the people who are doing all of the manual labor, the blue collar stuff. They're equally as important. But a lot of them are misplaced. They're not in roles that they really want to be in because they're not healthy. And what's what I see happening is through the work that I'm doing is working with the movement leaders who are here to change the game. That is talking to movement leaders that are here to change the construction game, people who are here to change the mental wellness or mental health game, people who are here to confront domestic violence, make sure that their individual voices are powerful and so in tune with their mission that whatever they create is just going to ripple down and reach everyone, reach millions, billions of people.
I really love that because I feel a lot of people have lost their voice. And I'm wondering, like, what do you feel it is that is blocking people from actually expressing and using their voice? And what's the number one thing that you would suggest to do to like bring it forward and start like and activate their voice and speak into the things that they really feel called to speak about?
Well, Hayley, let's start with asking you a question. Have you ever heard the phrase of if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all?
Mm. Didn't we hear that a lot in our younger years?
Yes. So what
Mm.
happens? We hear phrases like this, or maybe children are meant to be seen but not heard
Mm.
as we're growing up. These beliefs are instilled. There's a million of them. There's a million different things that are instilled in not just the mind, it's not just mental programming, it's in the body, and it's a lot of it's encoded into our multidimensional being, which is within our the energy centers within our body. And I don't know how woo this podcast goes, so
We
we'll
go woo. We go woo woo.
it's full interdimensional. So like there's multi dimensions of programming that we have collectively that we've all agreed upon. So
Mm.
societies agree upon a particular set of rules and this particular narrative that we don't stand out too much. We don't want to stand out of the tribe.
Mm.
We don't want to be above our tribe because that means that we are an authority, but we don't like authorities, do we?
No, we don't.
People have a problem with authority, but authority is required to actually make something happen. And so, what was the second part of that question?
So, what what blocks people, and then what you feel is the first thing to do to bring out and activate the voice that's to speak into what they actually like a feeling they want to speak about. What's the number one thing they can do to start bringing or get their voice out there to be seen and heard, to remove the
So,
block?
remove the block, yes. So,
Mm.
the thing that I do with clients is I go into their beliefs and I have them speak on behalf of these beliefs. I have them give these parts of them a voice. And we work out why they're there. We don't vilify anything. And really, if you were to go down to the nitty gritty woo woo side, you can call it entities, demons, and all of that. If we're talking psychology, we could call it parts. We can put it down into those forms of language.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, those things are they're unheard. They're unheard, and we think that they're us. If we feel the need to justify or defend something that we are doing or that we're saying, that is something that we have not integrated. So, in order to integrate it, we need to work out why it's there, what its purpose is, what good it served, what it was there to block, when we find out what it was there to block, it starts to move. We start to see the thing behind it. Now, I'm talking about a process here, which I don't know how it's going to come across on the podcast. For people at home, when you overthink about something, if you've got a ruminating thought, something that's looping in your head, when you recognize that there's a looping thought, take a moment, breathe into your body, and feel into your body. Find out where it is. Locate any form of tension, any form of constriction. And when you find that point of constriction, it may be very subtle at first. Your instinct will know where it is. People surprise themselves. My clients surprise themselves all the time with what they come up with. I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? Got like lizard scale shoulders. And I'm like, I don't know. That's you. That's in your body. I don't know. You're telling the story. And so when you locate this, you can bring your attention into this space and you can make sound from that space. So, Hayley, you've heard of sounding?
Yeah.
Quite often people will sound in a sense of like channeling and just whatever comes through. This is a very isolated somatic version of sounding. Quite often what comes out can be some very ugly noises, can be some very weird stuff. The amount of times it sounds like some sort of goblin gremlin sound or kind of sounds. I hope that translated on the podcast. And when you allow this sound to come out, it will, if you've located the energy deeply enough, that sound can be enough to dislodge it.
Mm.
Now, what can make it more powerful is being seen making this noise. So if you have someone around you that is able to listen to you, what that will do is it bridges the gap between you not being okay with being seen in this ugly format or this part of you that's afraid to be seen, and that person gets to see you.
Yeah.
So it repatterns the nervous system, and that person's like, oh, I've never heard that sound from you before. It's very powerful when done with people, because the purpose of unlocking the voice is so that we can communicate. So the best way to start is with someone in front of us. Otherwise, we're just in a feedback loop of ourselves.
Absolutely. And to be seen and witnessed in that, in all of it as well, it's really powerful. And your body just knows and remembers, right? So to be able to express this and be seen in all of it, like it's really powerful. It's the best work, really, I feel, when we get to not only experience ourselves, but see and guide others through it as well. It's so powerful.
Yeah. Think about it. Like, what's the first thing that happens when a baby's born? What do?
They cry, don't they? They make sure they cry. They express.
What's before that?
What comes before that?
Before they make the sound.
They breathe.
Yeah. So there's two things that happen that are so fundamental to our existence. We breathe and then we let out sound.
Powerful.
Now, I'm not going to go into a thing about breath work because I'm not a breath work person. I do believe in taking a strong breath. Taking a strong breath and having the body open. Now, the problem is, see that baby that takes a deep breath in and lets out sound? The difference between that baby and most adults, and most children even as well, is that that baby doesn't know what it means to be socialized. It doesn't know what programming is in place to stop it from making that sound. It doesn't have anything in its body to make it restrict its breathing patterns. Its nervous system is coming out. It's like, I'm taking a big deep breath through the diaphragm. There's no restriction, and then pure sound straight from inside.
So, how do you feel? How does the nervous system affect the way our voice sounds? Or, yeah, how, yeah, how
Yeah,
does
I'm picking
our,
up what you're putting down. So,
yeah, what's your belief on that then? If you're not like a breathwork person as such, if you don't have a regulated nervous system, how does that affect your voice compared to if you are regulated from breathing and regulating yourself to then your voice sounding or being what it is?
so I'll reflect on my experience with this because it's going to be different for each person. I don't believe that we need to be doing any form of breath work other than simply being aware of it and allowing it to go into our diaphragm. I understand that there's breath work to clear stuff in the body, and yet I've got through a long time in my life and I've done little bits and pieces of breath work, but it hasn't really resonated, which is ironic. As a singer, you'd think, yeah, as a singer I'd be really into breath work. But no, it's actually just the constant awareness of the breath that's more important than anything. But the thing that stops us from being in contact with our breath all of the time is a lack of safety in the body. Now, it's almost an oxymoron because sometimes breath work can lead us to safety in the body. There are physical symptoms in the body that lead to a lack of safety that come up that make us feel like we can't be in the body. I've got to be making sure I get everything right. I've got to think this thing through. And every time we're thinking things through, it's not embodied.
You're in your head, aren't you, then?
Yes.
And you're not in your body.
Yeah, most of these things can be worked out if we stay in our body.
Yeah.
Now, this is without preaching and saying, be in your body all the time. But when have you ever done anything and made a beneficial choice from your mind that's been really solid?
None. I can't recall any.
Case
Just
in point.
dumb choices made from the mind, silly,
Yeah, and so without like breath work as such, it's about reconciling what's going on inside the system and understanding and listening. Really, listening is actually the biggest magic pill here if there was to be one.
Yeah, and I feel like when I am tapping into my body and I'm getting out of my head into my body to feel and to listen to my intuition, it comes from me being like breathing, being in control of my breath, the way I'm breathing to then drop me into my body. That's what it is for me.
Yeah.
So I get that you
saying to be aware of the breath, because when that's what I'm doing, I am actually in the present moment, being aware of how I'm breathing in and out, how slow, how quick, all of the things to get me into my body. So it is that through breath for me.
And yeah, it's powerful
Mm,
being aware of this, and it can become a hyperfixation because sometimes it's not about thinking about the breath. Sometimes it's being aware of the fire in our chest. Sometimes it's being aware of that weird little niggling muscle twitch that's going on in the left arm.
yeah.
Sometimes
And
that's what requires our attention and not the breath. We can breathe afterwards. There's like a movement and a dynamicness around this body attention.
yeah. And I love our body is so powerful and it gives us signs. So, and I love quantum healing as well. So, what side of the body, what organ represents what, all of that kind of thing, on what sign or what signal your body's giving you at the time. To hear what your body is telling you, you have to be in your body and not in your head. So how do you, if you're not being aware of your breath to tap into what this sign is from your body, how are you doing it? How are you getting present with that?
Well, okay, I'll give you a thing that your listeners can practice as well. Would you like to join in?
Absolutely.
Great.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I have you close down your eyes. This will only take 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to, so notice how you're focused on me right now. So you're listening to
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine there's a point of attention that you've got on me right now. You're like, what's he want me to do? So I want you to bring that point of attention inside the middle of your brain right now, inside your head. So you're just going to be listening to me passively. Okay, now that point of attention, I want you to bring that to your left elbow. Just imagine it like it's almost in your mind's eye, internally. Just look at inside your left elbow. You in there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I want you to place it down to your right knee.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want you to move it to your left thigh.
Mm-hmm.
Now bring it up to the point where your belly button is. Just place the attention there. Bring it up to where your solar plexus would be, just below the rib cage. And then bring it up again and place it where your heart would be, behind the rib cage. Notice that you're not just looking at it. What do you notice?
Feeling. And I'm seeing like strings go from, when I go from each one, it's attached. And also my breath. When I get to certain places, then I breathe.
Yes. So the feeling comes before the breath.
Yeah, I'm holding my breath before I get there. And then when I get there, then I breathe. Because I feel like I've got to have a breath.
Interesting. Because
Mm.
there's anticipation there. And what happens when there's a lack of safety, if there's quite often there's a fear of what am I going to find if I go down there? So people hold their breath
Mm.
because it may not feel safe.
Yeah, interesting. Very cool. And then once I got there, I breathed. It was like, okay, there's nothing bad here. I'm going to breathe.
Yes.
I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. I can breathe.
And so if anyone listening to this podcast noticed, if they followed along with it, did you breathe or did you not breathe? What did you find? Be curious about it. There are
Mm.
there are many mysteries to the body and there are many things happening within our entire system that until someone guides us to a certain place or to inquire about it, oftentimes it goes unnoticed. Or we know it's there because it's like, oh, I feel this pain in my chest. People have heart attacks. They've been getting those signs for a very long time, but they have not noticed it because they've been closed off. They've been detached from that space. And so it seems like it comes out of the blue, but it's actually just, you've heard the feather, the truck, and was it the feather brick and the truck concept?
Yeah. Yeah.
For your listeners, first we get tickled. Yeah, so first when we've got something that's wrong with our bodies or something that is demanding our attention, something we need to look at, first we get tickled with the feather. Most people ignore the feather because it's like, oh, it's just a feather. That shouldn't be too bad. This is like a red flag in a beginning of a relationship. That's like, oh no, it'll be fine. I'll just they
Just
spoke
brush it
really, yeah, they just like spoke down to me in the first date. That didn't feel good, but no, they seem nice. So that's the feather. And as we move along, and then that person becomes the same, they become a worse version of that. And then it becomes a brick. And then you get people in a, to continue this analogy, in a domestic violence situation where they get hit by the truck and they can't get out. And there are signs in the very beginning that that was not right. But due to the lack of safety and the lack of integration in the body, which, mind you, is not your fault. It's not your fault that it's there. However, if you can recognize that it's there, it is your responsibility. And people will keep on enacting these things out until it's like, I've got to get a DVO against this person. And
What
gets
do you
to the
think?
truck.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't want it to get to the truck. So how does someone bring awareness to the feather? Like where can we be so aware and present to the signs? What would you tell someone that's ignoring all of them? How can they bring awareness?
When you're around people, tune in with how you feel in your body. There is to use the term, there is a mass awakening that is occurring. There is a lot going on in this world where people have been told how to think about things. We're taught to justify our reality. We're told to talk in circles through repetitive behaviors that people around us will reinforce and enable. In order for you to elevate in your life, it requires you to be aware of what's going on in your body all of the time. Imagine if your house, imagine just having a visitor come around to your house that you didn't invite, and they're just living in the lounge room. But that person that's in the lounge room, you kind of see them, but you just kind of ignore that they're there. They keep bringing in trash, and they bring friends around, and they're having parties, and you're like, it's all I've ever known. I've only ever known this experience. So yeah, maybe it's just normal. Maybe everyone lives life like this. Imagine you've got this crazy neighbor or this visitor living in your house, and this person's running amok, but you don't know any different. It's been happening forever. And then someone comes along and says like, why do you have someone like myself, I'll be like, why do you have like a weird person living there? And you'll be like, oh, that's just Steve. And you're like, but do you even like him being here? No. Does Steve even want to be here? He seems depressed. It's like, no, he fucking wants to leave. But hold on a second. He came in, but you keep locking the door. You've started telling him that he can't leave. You started making him feel at home. And in fact, you've started to trauma bond with him, and you've started to believe that you're actually as one. You're meant to be together. Maybe you've fallen in love with Steve. And so this stuff goes on inside of our bodies, inside of the way that we express ourselves. And whenever there's something that we can't say, okay, if there's something inside of you that you feel uncomfortable to express and you can't say it because someone outside of you might hear it and might judge you for it, who is it that actually owns your voice? Your voice is not something to be owned. Your voice is something to be embodied. A sovereign voice is someone who speaks from their core center. It's simply the messenger. But somewhere along the lines, this has come up in a few conversations lately. Let's say this one here is your power. In a household, years ago, before we had electricity, before we had gas, people would light the fire inside of the house. They'll crank up the hearth. On the hearthstone, they would bring wood and light the fire. It would warm the house. They could cook food on it. They can heat water. They can do all those things. The power is inside the home. Just like a baby, their power is inside of them. They can access it fully. Now, what happens when electricity is invented? All of a sudden, the power is not in the home. The power is outside of the home. But we can't just get direct access to that power, can we? It requires a middleman, someone that says, this is how much power will cost you. And so we go, I would like some power, please. And they say, it's going to cost you, I don't know, 3 cents per kilowatt. I don't know any of the metrics of this. So please, if you're a tech head on interested in electricity, don't call me out on this because I have no idea. They say it costs this much power you can get for this much money. Meanwhile, you're slaving your way away to make the money to make sure that you have enough power for the house. In this instant, you're outsourcing your power to not the power place. You're outsourcing it to the middleman, the person in the middle. They can determine how much it costs. They can say, actually, you haven't paid your bill. No power for you. Now imagine this same situation, but for your voice. I'm going to use a really hot topic here, but religions. So you have all the power of yourself inside of you. You have access to the Holy Spirit, to universe, to consciousness, to whatever name you give to it. You have that access within inside of you. Mm-hmm. And then you have an organized religion that comes along and says, okay, we are the source of power now. You need to you take your power out of there. So that's God now, okay? You have God that's outside of you. It's not inside of you now, it's outside of you. It's something above you, it's outside, it's all around, but it's not inside of you. But you can come and speak to us as the middlemen because we know the way. And what it will cost you is a lifetime of devotion and a brainwashing that you will receive from us. So that when people ask you about what's going on, you will talk in circles and justify why it's right to idolize a book and a structure that's been put in place. Now, this is an attack. It's not an attack on Christianity. It's not an attack on God or Jesus or anything like that. This is to say about the limitation of the middleman that stands between who you are, your power, and you. Because if there's something between you and your power, something is amiss.
This is a hot topic at the moment, and
It is.
I am absolutely hearing what you're saying, and the whole thing for me is when someone says, I found God and that changed my life, or I found Jesus and this, then this and this and this happened, that exactly giving their power away to them, that's what it was that helped them or saved them or got them through whatever, when really it was them. It was them. They've done everything. They made the choices. They made the decisions. They did this. They're just, if it didn't work, then they wouldn't have themselves to blame because they've put it outside of themselves by going and following God or Jesus or whatever to get them to where they think that they want to move to or get to or what have you.
So I love what you're saying, and I agree with you. And what I'd like to do is take the conversation a layer deeper. Because I know this is a rabbit hole that we can open up, and I don't know if it's the right time for it because it's quite emotionally charged. Let's look at the reason why people are resorting to organized religion. Because it's not them finding God. It's not them finding Jesus Christ. I have my own relationship with Christ. I have my own relationship with God. I don't believe it's through a church. The church itself is something that, hear me out, what's the core thing about expressing our truth? The core thing that people are afraid of and people don't have within their lives, which is fundamental to being able to speak our truth and speak from a place of power within ourselves, is safety. And when people don't feel safe, they find a structure that will provide them safety. And if that's organized religion, then that's great. What they've found is a particular structure which holds the idea of Christ and God in place, but those people start speaking from the dogma of religion. And yes, I will not deny the fact that they've had an opening experience. They probably have. Most of them have probably had a very awakening experience, but they connect it to an external source of power because that was the thing that gave it to them. They instilled fear in them. They're going to go to hell. They're going to do this if they don't do this one thing. And I don't know about you, but if someone tries to sell something to me from a place of fear, I don't want what they're buying. If this is Jesus Christ's salespeople, he needs to hire a new sales team. Stat. So people are looking for safety. And when they can't find it within themselves, they find it in somewhere else. They find it in a tribe. They find it in a community, which we are hardwired to find community and tribe. Now, the most powerful tribes, this is what the vision of the future is tribes that they empower individuals to feel safety within themselves, to be sovereign within themselves, so that they can choose their own path, their own destiny. And religion does not like that, because they like being in control. and it helps people for a period of time, and then until it doesn't, until it finds its limitation. And this person who finds Jesus within the church, they delete their personal identity. If that doesn't send shivers down your spine, I don't know what will. We give up our personal identity in order to be a part of this tribe. I don't like it. I don't like it, Hayley.
No, I don't either. I don't either. Yeah, I don't either. And we could go down. We could talk about so many other things related to the church or community and things like that. And I feel like that's a whole nother conversation that we get to have on a different podcast.
Yes.
So instead of someone going outside of themselves and going external to feel safety, how do we bring it back to ourselves? What is it that we get to look to within ourselves to create the safety?
Every one of your listeners has felt the fire within them at some point or another. There is a fire that is within your chest that's burning. It may seem like a small flickering flame. It may be a blaze. Your responsibility within your life is to allow that to be expressed with an open heart. That is the source of your power. No one can take that away from you when you tap into it. When you have faith in yourself and not the ego self, not the I am God, it's like when you are in this space, you're connected with everything. You also have your own individual identity. Now, I'm loving this analogy right now. I'm going to share it again. You imagine, this is not religion, okay? But we're going to stay out of that conversation.
That's for a different day.
There is the light of everything that exists around us. The light of universe, of the collective consciousness, of God, of the Holy Spirit, everything is around us. And you imagine that light shining into you. Each individual person has their own stained glass window. That light is all the same. That stained glass window, Hayley, yours has a very specific color in it. It has colors and it has angles and it has particular ways that the light shines through and it refracts off into the walls and it refracts into everything around you. Yours is completely different to mine.
Totally.
The fire inside of you is akin to that. It is the things that God is transmuted and spoken through into you. Now, this is so intimately intertwined with the voice. Because when you realize this, and there is something inside of you that wants to express the totality of everything and essentially bring about heaven, bring about peace, your individual personal mission is about you recognizing what that stained glass looks like for you and you expressing it with full conviction.
So, Mitchell, if someone listening feels unseen, unheard, unsure of themselves or the light that they want to shine, or they feel like they're being silenced in some kind of a way, what is it that you would say to them on tapping into their voice and finding their light?
Learn to listen. Learn to listen from your body. You can't learn something if you know everything. So
And
your
even
work, go.
when people say, yeah, I know, you know, when you have a conversation and you listen to a different language, oh yeah, I know, yeah, I know, that just stops them from like learning anything further. They're blocking it straight away instead of listening. It's a strong language piece there as well.
Consider that you may only know a small fraction of who you are.
Mm.
And when you listen, you will discover more. You will discover more from people around you. You will discover more about yourself. Through true listening, listening from the body. This is a thing that I teach. We won't go into it right now. It's true listening from the body allows you to be attuned and aware of your situation and hear the true information that's being conveyed.
And you know what I also love, the saying, if you're always talking, you'll never hear what's meant for you. So I love that we get to listen in so many different ways in all of our life, whether it's listening to other people, listening to our body, listening to nature, whatever it is around us that's bringing in these messages for us. Ah, so great. So great.
I'm lit up. I'm so lit right now. Like internally, there's so much going on. I'm like, oh, I could just go on for another hour.
We're shining our light. If you were to leave the listeners with one final thing that could open up for a conscious conversation with themselves or with others, what would it be?
Well, the first question that came through is this is something they could ask themselves or they could ask someone else. What don't I know about you?
Wow. And I wonder if people go to the depths and actually tell their little secrets that people don't actually know about them. Or are they just going to stay surface level and just, you know, keep it? Oh, you probably don't know this.
Yeah.
That's an awesome question to go and ask anyone today and see to what depth they go to. And I guess you then find out what kind of a person they are as well, the person that you're asking, because are they just going to keep it surface level, or are they actually going to share something that no one knows about themselves?
Yeah. It's the it's the thing when we ask someone how they are. Have you ever asked someone how they are and go, "How are you?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, so I did this and I did this and I did this." It's like, "No, I asked how you are, not what you've been
Yeah.
doing to keep busy to avoid how you are."
Yeah. And I love being on the other side of that. If someone asks me, "How are you?" I like to say, if it's great, if it's bad, if it's whatever, I like to share and see how they then respond. Because did they really want to know how I am? Or is it just like a play on words because that's just what you do? Oh, how
How are
I
you,
am.
Haley?
Yeah. Well, do you really want to know, Mitchell?
I do.
I'm absolutely fabulous. I am in South Australia staying with one of my best girlfriends that I haven't seen in over a year. And I'm enjoying her company, her partner's company, and their two beautiful boys. And it's just filled my cup with connection and love. So I am feeling the love at the moment. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for
How are
sharing.
you? How are you feeling after this podcast?
I am so lit up and feeling on purpose, and that I'm doing the thing that I was born to do. I feel a lot of tingling in my chest and a lot of fire. It feels like liberation.
How are you going to use and harness that today? What do you feel like? Are you going to go create, or what are you going to do?
I'm gonna let that one sit. There's some conversations to have with some people that I know are here for something bigger than themselves, but they're not ready to admit it yet. Some There's some movement leaders in the space, people that you and I know, people who are stuck within the identity that they created that gave them the success,
Mm.
but now they can't get out of it because they think that's who they are.
Yes, I love this because we get to change identities as many times as we feel like need to, that we want to. We're changing every day.
Can I add another layer to that?
Absolutely. Always.
So, yes, we want to, but we also don't want to. Because
But
the things that created what we have are things that are a point of comfort. We may complain about them, that they also keep us where we are. We're attached to that. People get attached to those things. And when it comes to shifting, we say that we want to, but what people are actually saying is there's something deeper within me that I don't know what it is yet. That deeper identity, that deeper soul mission that I'm afraid to express because my identity hasn't caught up with what it is that I'm truly here to do. Because if it were, I would be having the impact that I truly want, that I truly desire, that's truly in my path, in my soul's path to reach.
yeah, yes, I do feel that. And can I add that when we consciously know that our identity is shifting, can we not look at it from a different lens of, okay, this is an identity shift for me and I'm excited for what is to come and what I get to create now as this new version of myself, and just be so grateful and thankful for that version and that identity that got you to there. And just know that when you step into a new identity, something even better is coming for you.
Oh yeah.
And not feel so stuck in that unsafe, fear, uncomfortable zone. We get to like step on out of there and step into it.
That's the liminal space. The point where it's like I'm stepping into my new identity. I'm stepping in. And whilst we are stepping in, we're not actually in it. We're not expressing from that identity.
Mm.
Because it hasn't embodied yet, which is fine. It's part of the process.
Yeah.
And is the identity something that is ego serving, or is it something that is truly of service to that deeper calling?
And that's what the process is, right? Figuring it out, what it is, where it's showing up from. Juicy.
Juicy.
Love it. So many layers, so many angles, so many perspectives, right? Beautiful. Well, Mitchell Ryan, how can the listeners find you, contact you, get in touch with you?
Check me out over at mitchell.d.ryan on Instagram. It's probably the best contact for me. Follow me along on there. You'll be seeing more stuff around if you are a movement leader, if you're someone who has a mission that is bigger than them. Reach out. Let's have a conversation. And I'd love to hear from people. I'd love to hear from like what you got from the podcast. If there's anything that landed for you that was potent, or anything that you disagree with, I'd love to hear from it. Like, I'm open to the chats. So
Yeah, absolutely. Drop a DM. Everyone's opinion is welcome, though. So if you've got a different opinion, then shoot it our way. And yeah, let's have the open conversations, the conscious conversations.
that is the name of the podcast, right? Wait,
Right?
what is the name of the podcast?
Conscious conversations.
It is. Okay, I had a blank for a second and I was like, wait, it is right, isn't it? Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone that has joined us and listened today. Go follow Mitchell Ryan over on Instagram. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to hear more of the conscious conversations that we're bringing weekly at the moment. It's been wild. It's been great. And I'm loving the guests that we're having on. So thank you, Mitchell, for being one of the best guests that I've had and bringing all the hot topics.
Pleasure to be on the podcast. Thank you for having me on.